farming channel under my Darrel David Vlogs. Here I'm actually going to be showing you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a little tour around um, my garden. Considering my nursery, even my garden and all the other stuffs. So what I'm going to be doing is giving you guys a brief info on. So first of all, if you look closely, you can see that I have some lettuces right here. So what I'm going to be doing is actually I have given them the watering this morning. So actually I am giving you the tips and tricks to use like for your farming methods. If you're like looking to do lettuce on a large scale, I have plenty lettuces here, as you can see all the way down there. I even have all back. So what I usually does is actually 1 week, and we could say 1 week and 3 quarters. So you could say a week and 5 days. Yeah, a week and 5 days. So the technique in lettuce is actually what I'm doing. As you can see, the soil is mashed up. What I usually does is I usually always give the soil some plowing up. So as you can see, it's not hard, it's always grumpy. So you need to get something like a knife or something and start busting it up, like giving the roots a little more, giving the soil some air so that the roots can run. This is one key factor to actually consider when doing lettuces. I actually got to understand this lately, because why I was doing lettuces like how you may do cabbages and other stuff like that, but it's not really like that, because actually you will have to continue regulating that stick. So that's what I actually does. So if you're doing a home gardening, if you're actually doing like things like planting for events, the more you can give lettuce water, that's what it wants. Water, fertilizer, and also the plowing up, as I showed you guys. So what I'm going to be doing next, my lettuces, as you can see, I will drum to my another part of farming, which is the same, but yeah, different crop. So here I got some watermelon lemons. I had posted recent videos where I actually just planted it, when I sprayed it, and all stuff like that. So what do you want to consider when you're doing your watermelons? You want to actually consider um, the type of bugs, the leaf condition. You want to make sure that the leaf is actually green. You can say that's not actually 100% perfect leaf, but you want to see a leaf looking like this color. It's not really a water crop, it's more like a hot sun crop. It can take sun. I haven't wet those in like 2 weeks. We had some water, so under the ground is still wet. But water lemon is more of a crop that actually can withstand the water, so it's not no big deal to actually continue watering it like how you will have to water lettuces and other stuffs. So this is what I do for my short crops version. um, I had other videos which I was doing with my other gardens. I was doing short crop also, but I'm doing a big change. I'm gonna post the video, I think tomorrow, please the Lord. I'm gonna post the video, or it may be next week. So what I'm gonna be doing, actually from today, I'm gonna be doing every Thursday live. I'm gonna be showing you guys how I do the procedure for the day and where I visit. So actually this is it for my um, gardening section when concerning to short crops. So I'm gonna be showing you guys now my long-term crops, like my figs and my tanya and other stuffs like that. But also I'm just gonna give you guys a quick tour through my seasoning. So this what I have here is some lemongrass. It's not a hard um, seasoning to actually, or you could call it a flavor. It's not hard to plant, it's not hard to catch. It's very easy. So I'll show you a demonstration, what you can do. So if you need a lemongrass plant, it's not that hard. It's actually simple, okay? So what you do is you go to the stem of this and you actually root it up from here, or you take a knife or something and you just take your time and cut it off. So you want to get it with some roots. When you plant it, you want to give it some a good bit of water, which is going to be something great for it for the starting process. Also, even if you have things like your fertilizing, mix of fertilizing, it doesn't matter what fertilizing, any fertilizing could do. It could be like blue seed fertilizer, it could be natural organic fertilizer, as long as it is fertilized. So on the other hand, this here is some cucumbers I had. I can't remember if I did a video with them, but if you're having these problems with your cucumbers, one thing you can consider is your seeds. It's actually the seeds is the problem. If you're buying like the low variety seeds, it is more like efficient to diseases, so you're gonna get setbacks at an early age. If you're buying the good seeds, like the high efficient seeds, like how we call them, the bigger variety of seeds, so it's like the higher breed of the cucumbers. Sometimes I got the long ones, I got the salads. So certain of the trees, the seeds are expensive, but certain of the trees last better in the sunlight. So it can last like both. If the rain is falling too much and if the sun is too hot, it's gonna keep the green, it's gonna keep the texture. But this one is like $4, $5 packet seeds, $20 pan seeds. So these are like, if you're doing your home gardening, you can use that. But if you're actually doing farming to make money, you want to look for the better variety seeds. And the better variety seeds are expensive, yes, but actually it's gonna do the job. So that's it for my farming under my short crops. So I'm gonna give you guys a little tour to my banana field. It's just a few walk. So that's the surroundings I actually be around. This is how the home are. I even got the water system set up. I got everything else under control. So what I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna take a tour to my vegan planting section. I'm sorry, I'm getting a call here. Let me just take it. Yeah. Hey, you're coming across? Anybody surgery? Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, just give me a quick shit. Fly! You said she rich, right? You said she just rich. All right. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna give you guys a quick tour. I just had a client. So what I'm gonna be doing now is taking you guys to my banana field. I got some plants for there. I can give you guys a tour for this one also. So as you can see, person says that I am blessed based on where water is located and where my gardens are located. So maybe indeed I'm blessed. So these are like actually a little stream that runs all the way up to my other garden higher up. I got two other gardens higher up, and what I'm looking to do in the future, I'm looking to see if I can get some boys. We can dig that stuff, try to make a basin, a pool of water, deep enough. Because I got a small pump, I want to start running up there to take water. The smaller the pump is going to be easier for the water section. The bigger pump might just suck up everything and just going to waste my time. So I got a stream there, and that stream is actually, I could say, it's a good stream. So I'm pretty satisfied. Okay, ow. So here is my long-term garden. That's where I plant my fig, And you can notice that I got plenty of big times. I actually do seasonings. I do bottle seasonings locally, plant up my seasonings. So what I'm gonna be doing besides this, I'm gonna be picking them off sometime this week. No, I'm gonna be picking them off like Sunday because I gotta grind everything. And as the rain is falling, I think we got a second shower to get. I want that second shower to actually pitch up and give them back the leaves. So I'm gonna be bottling and storing in a cool condition so these can get time to leaf back again. And by the time they leaf back, I should be able to sell it. I don't want to sell too fast because I want to keep that production flowing and I have to actually start planting more. So as you can see, I got other stools coming up. So I can give them short tools like short stuffs and continue molding. And as I started picking, I'm going to cut stalks and I'm going to stick in between. What I really want to do here also is I don't want to let the bush rot. I have to clean it in a sequence and making sure that the sanitation of the land stays the way I want it to be. Because that's a key thing in farming. If you're farming, sanitation is the key. You want to actually ensure that your garden is cleaned. The reason why for this is it can attract all kind of bugs. It can bring in all kind of different insects, and you're gonna have to get in like started spending money to get things to actually like control it. So you don't want to go through that. So here is my long-term crops. Uh, they are like 2 months, and I would say like the things that you have to consider in farming is one, you have to watch for animals. If there is someone that wants to go into farming and you're living around neighbors with animals like sheep, goats, and stuff like that, and you're going to do things like long-term crops like planting, figs, bloggers, and stuff like that. I had a very hard time here with those animals because they actually used to eat off the small leaves. They love the young leaf of the plants, and especially when the plant is young. Even the strip, the stems too, right? But actually, I didn't got all that damage. I just got the leaves get eaten off. So these are like 2 months old. It could be 2 to 3 months old. I'm gonna show you why I said it 2 to 3 months old. Is because you can see that this plant here is actually just sending up its second sucker. I may get more sucker as I am going along, but that's might be its second sucker. So the plant is pretty solid. So when you're digging, you want to make sure you get good foundation. And if you're not getting good foundation, you will have to widen the digging. So when you're doing a planting hole, whenever you put back the mold, one, you don't want the water as the rainfall to settle inside of here and rot on it. That's going to be a problem if you just cut the hole too short like this. Also, you want root space. As you can see, there's a little root coming out from here. You want root space. Even that's a consideration to tell you that as the plant is coming up, then you have to get ready for molding. You don't want the roots to come over the ground and get the direct sun. So I may have to start molding soon. And also the molding will help and enhance in when you're actually looking for more plants, because right about now I'm looking for plenty plants and I want to actually like go bigger. I got another garden up to the hill. It's actually a good view, so I think I'm going to be actually um, putting fig plants up there. So what I'm going to be doing, I did my things in sequence, so I'm going to be using here to collect my plants and bring them all just to be right up there. So I have to take care of here because here is like my foundation for this garden. And then I have two other gardens up. I got the bigger foundation which I'm going to be planting. I had some plants I'm going to show you guys when I go back to my home. I'm going to show you guys the plants I took off to put in the bigger land. These are going to be my foundation for the other piece of land I have. So it's like I got 4 pieces. And I used to do the short crops. It's good doing short crops, but because I already have the nursery, I find it's a little bit difficult for me when it comes to growing my seasonings, actually taking care of my lettuces because I got to do some more stands. Um, Also in the nursery, I does a nursery also, and I'm looking to get an animal like a cow or a sheep, but more likely a cow. You know, if you're going farming, you gotta go big. The profits have to be good. I love to go big because I don't love to wait for 2, 3 years or 4, 5 years when I should be collecting something like uh $2,000, $3,000. I'm gonna actually be collecting 1,000 or like 1,005. You want to think bigger as a farmer, so that's what I'm actually doing. So even though I have these coming up, so as you can see, I gotta start coming and regulating. I don't want this thing spreading, so I gotta come cut off these stuffs. These are things to consider. Also, when coming to the stool, you want to keep that stool clean. Yes, it's a very good. These are like organic. These are the leaves from the mangoes. It's an organic, but actually planting trees love to attract borers whenever it is like it's a black beetle. Whenever it's crowded and it's shaded, it's moist, the borers love to come there and start feeding on the calm. Okay, so you don't want that. You want to actually keep it clean. What I'm saying, these things roots runs a good way. If you're doing good molding, you get your roots to spread out good. You get a good foundation for your planting trees or your fig trees. And actually, for these things which are going to break down, you can have them all the way on the other side. You don't want to put them too close. Also, another factor to consider is the borers cannot climb the planting when you take off these old sheets. What it usually does, they actually leave on the hair and they actually start feeding. So that's another point you want to consider. So what I'm going to be showing you again is I have a few of my tanias and my figs, and also as you can see I got my big time coming up. So what I got to focus on now is in the center of here. I'm not troubling myself too much for the water because I got water just home, and it's easily I just can just get some pipes and I can just pass it. I got a little drain up there with a culvert from the road. It's a small bridge, so I'm gonna just pass the pipe underneath, come through here. The owner of this land and me, we were going on good, so I can just ask him for permission to pass the pipe through his land. But you have to be really considerate when you're passing pipes to a person's land because it can come to a lot of like losses, damages, and it can cost you in the long run. So what I want to do is if I'm going to be passing it there, I may not want to bury it because sometimes later in life you got to consider for if like he pays somebody to work and they're not aware of the pipe and stuff like that. So I will actually find a good way to run it so that he can see it and whosoever he is employing could see it. Okay, so that's another factor to consider. And also it's good to live good with everyone. That is like a good trend. Living good with everyone is a good thing. So you could actually like whenever you need like little stuff's done, you can get a good, someone can give you a good recommendation, they can trust you and all them stuff like that. So these are my big plants, these are my long-term plants. I got this garden here for long term only. I don't want to do any big set of things. Another point to consider if you're doing things like fig, that's why I recommend if anyone is doing farming and you're doing a job and you want to get into farming, I would recommend you do things like planting, fig, tania, long-term crops, because you don't have that extra time to actually keep visiting the farm if you're doing short crops. That was my killer. So I want to share that with someone else who's want to do farming and is young and they may want to multitask like I do a lot of different things at once. I will recommend if you got the money to pay someone to do your short cropping for you and you got everything set up, that's good. But if you don't got anyone to pay and you're the one doing it and you got work and stuff, I think you're gonna lose big time. So I would recommend if you got a spot, you're gonna make good money. Okay, figs, planting, bloggers. The price varies at certain times of the year. If you got water, it's like your price shouldn't varies, but according to how the rainfall, then it will varies. But it shouldn't varies because your plants are going to be always up to mark. You're going to always have producing, and on top of that, less disease efficiency for short crop to long crop. um, if you're taking care of them good and sanitizing them good, you don't have to hurt your head. And also, in one plant you can get approximately 6, 7, 8 different um, shoots or plants from that stuff. And also, as you can think, like, if you looking for your target market where your money is concerned, one tree can actually make you, if it's like $3 per pound, or 250 or $2 per pound of fig, or like you're selling it by the hand, or even when it's actually real scarce, it can go all up to $5, $6 per pound. Then you know, from one tree, if you got good like breed, your trees are really good, then you're looking at like one plant, one stock of fig can give you actually a good bit of money. So we're just talking about one. And if you've got a lot, plant them around the same time. They're going to be coming in the same time. So you're going to be cutting bunches of fig, bunches of blogger, bunches of plantain, whatever you're doing. So it's going to be actually a good. So this is it for here. What I'm going to be doing right now, I'm going to be heading back home to show you guys the nursery, the water setup, and every other thing I got, so you can see what it's like. So you can just move with me for a while. And if you notice, there is some bamboo structures here. I actually put this here for the animals, as which I told you. That's the thing to look out for in farming. Farming is not cheap. It's a lot of work, a lot of dedication. But if person's got animals, you got to actually tell them about it at a very early age before you start farming, because it's going to be a problem later for you and that person. So I'm going to give you guys a guided tour. As you can see, that's the yard I live in right here. And we just came out right over there. So it's not far. I don't hurt my head on this piece of garden again because everything is right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go head to the nursery right now to show you all what it's like. These are the same person which I told you all. He's doing farming next door to me. He did some fig recently. It was not too long. It's like maybe 1 year now. And as you can see, it wasn't even like that. You can see he got a lot of figs and things coming up. That's the good thing about planting figs. They get plants, but with short crops, you gotta start it all over again. So this is the yard. I'm finally in the yard here. This is the nursery right there. Told you all about some plants which I'm picking off. I got some right here. These are like fig plants. I tenderly love to take them with the roots. Okay, it's gonna be easier for catching up. If I have 1 or 2 roots there, it's gonna be easy for catching. When the plant have to actually start its process, that's gonna be an easier thing for me. So I got 1 or 2 roots that's gonna start intaking, and I don't have to do much work. Okay, so for inside of here, which is where all the thing happens. Normally I'm just stocking back up because we just had carnival, and when I look at my sales for the past few times I'm doing this, around this season, persons and plants, you know, it's time for you to go free up yourself and do your little bits and pieces. So we're still in August, and it's just like 2 weeks, I think, away. Carnival just left. So I know September is coming up, October, November, and December. That's where a person starts coming back and buy plants and start doing it all over again. And even we got some very good, where we're heading into the rainy season. So what I usually do, I put off my seeds. So these are here our salad peppers. These salad peppers is like Keystone varieties. What we try to do in Grenada here is we try to get the best variety possible for doing short crop seedlings, because the sun we encounter here, I'm not saying it's not hotter than any other places in the world, but it's hot. And actually, if you certain places in the soil, which I had found before with a little experience, certain soils actually clump together very easily, and they lose the water very quickly, they dry out very quickly, so you lose a lot. Some soil again, they keep the moisture, they're nice, they're okay. It's not all about the place, so that's why some persons in farming get to do better than others, and this is something that a farmer will not like to face. Okay, so as I showed you my seedling section, they're looking pretty okay. I've just given them the insecticide and spray. I'm not watering them too heavy. I'm gonna water them once per day because I don't want them to grow too quick, because we're still in August. I want to get them ready for September. Okay, so for here, as you can see, I got seeds. What I usually do with the seeds, I usually cover it, but as you can see, I'm not covering these right now because I need the heat and the moisture. So actually, I you can see a hole here. What I do first after I put my soil, I get a stick, which I'm gonna show you, and I actually punch holes into. So I punch the hole first, and then I drop the seed. And as I'm watering for the moisture, it's not every day. You don't got to water every day because you can drown the seed, you can rot the seed, and if the soil you're using holds water, you may get a very poor germination. So what I'm going to be doing is the moisture is going to be like inside the top, as you can see, dry, but the moisture is going to be a little deep down. So you want to check on that every day if you're doing it like the way I'm doing it. If you're uncovering the seeds and you want to see the sprout, actually you have to monitor it because it's going to dry out and stuff. If you don't want to monitor it and you got some extra empty trays, you can just turn them down upside down and put the top of the tray facing, just capsize the tray and put it over here. It's a very good practice. That's what I did to germinate these. That is why they're looking so healthy. And the germination is, I could see, they said 98%, 96%, I think, because it's a very high variety seed. And I'm satisfied. I may have one or two that's missing, but what I usually does, I make my job easier for me, is that I may take from here, and then I may fool up another tray to actually get the full tray. So I'll sacrifice one tray to fool the rest of trays, which is going to be easier than when you actually like take off the whole stuff, or you leave it off and then you actually do some random seedlings sprinkled into a basket or something, and it's germinating, and then you have to actually take off that seedling and replace it into there, and you got to make sure you have the fertilizing to give it. But when I'm doing it like this, the seed carries everything. You got a little nutrition to sustain it until it reaches a certain height, and then you start mixing your fertilizer. So you can see, like, in 1 week time after the seed has been germinated, you can start your fertilizing process. It could be a week and a half to 2 weeks maximum, and keep it moisturized. Don't overwater it because the seeds are gonna like start to rot. The stems are gonna start to rot from the seedlings because they're young. They're like starters, so they can't take the big pressure like when they start going out into the earth. Another thing you're gonna want to consider for your seedlings when in the nursery is your soil. A lot of persons tends to buy soil from the agency that produces the soil. It may not be like necessarily for me in my time, but what I'm saying, actually, if you can get some good organic, if you're doing a lot of like animals like goats and sheep, you can actually put the dung to dry. You can actually smash it. The layers manual, you can do that and use that as a soil for your seedlings. This to pay for The only thing you may have to think about is actually your trees. Only thing you may have to think about is actually your trees. Okay. I don't know if you're gonna if the trees are cheap in your country, but here it's like $9, $10 per tree. Some places 8. If you're buying wholesale, it's still expensive. So to me, persons also tell me that it's even easier. No, let's pray that. Leader. It's even easier to order your trees. I will say it like this. But if you're doing a small little kitchen garden for yourself and you just want to hatch a few plants, it's okay. You can just buy your trees from the dealerships. Alright, so I'm gonna show you from here now. Okay, so as I said, when the leaf like actually starts coming up again, I have a very small, I'm gonna be using light water to actually just keep it moist, and that's it. Okay, so besides here, as I told you, that the other piece of garden which I'm doing, I have no problem when it comes to water, because this is where the whole foundation starts. So from this tank here I got some fish. I should have offered something to give them so that they can come to the top so you can see. But with me just having the camera over here, I hope you may see one or two fishes still maybe moving and stuff like that. So actually I have this here. This is a gravitational flow which I had made a video with recently. It's like to the top of the river, so it's a very good thing. The water is just flowing here. There is no pump, there is no big set of things that have to be used here. It's just like nature, I can say, nature stuff. The water just come here and then I divert it to wheresoever I want it, and it's gonna be okay. And besides, what I usually do is I usually take my passion fruit plants and I usually plant them off. Okay, when I get the seeds, I usually do them in bulks, like a lot. If I cut 2 passion fruits and I put here, that's for seeds, that's for plants, and I'm gonna plant it. That's things you should always have in your home. Even if you're not selling, you should always have these things. These are good for juice. You don't have to buy these things. It's just 1 passion fruit in a tub of soil and a little moisture, and put it somewhere that it can get a little heat, and it's going to germinate, and then you're going to take it from there. This is a thyme plant which I have. Also, these are things that can cut back on your costs. Usually what I do is I will take off 1 string from this. I'm going to strip it off, and I'm going to get a bottle like this. I'm going to fill it with water, and I'm just going to have it here. And in 2 to 3, 4 days, it could be 5 days. Sometimes it could take the whole week. Sometimes it could take a whole week and a half. And these are going to start making roots. And this is going to save you from buying these plants. You don't have to buy this anymore. Okay? Even this one here, which I lost, I got to start giving it a better treatment. I think it outrun this bag, so I have to take it off from here. And I got to get something big like this and put it into it. Also, besides this, I have a rosemary plant, which is, that's a plant I got from someone. So people that say like when you get things from other persons, you should take care of it. That's a very good thing. Okay. Sorry I cannot smell it right now, but as I'm shaking it right here, you can get the fragrance from it. It's really strong. I believe it's actually more better than the first rosemary plant I had. The first plant I had, you couldn't have come and touched the tree like that because it was so funny, it dies. This one is actually, like I said, this one is good. The problems, when it comes to the rosemary, I don't face that problem. Also, with the rosemary, if you want plants, you can come to the node here. You can take a sharp knife, and where you can see the split there. If you don't want a split, you can just break it down. But it's not nice to break it down because you're gonna damage taking off some of the stems, the skin for the stems. This is gonna be a problem. So you don't want to do that. So you want to take your time, take a knife, cut it right into the node, and you can place that into a bottle of water and leave that for a couple of days. It may take 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks and a half, 2 weeks and a half, according to the sunlight and the water. If the water is constant, it's going to be easier. It's going to be getting fresh water all the time, so it's going to be good. It's going to start rooting in an earlier age. I'm not going to show what amount of days, but you're going to be rooting earlier than when you put it in standing water. So these are the nursery. This here is a pumpkin. This just grew up here because certain times when plants fall from on top and fall down to the bottom, I don't really see them. Sometimes they fall and I'm busy, I cannot pick them up. So they grows under here. I don't really kill them. What I does is, as I'm watering, it's like a automatic something. The extra water that falls from there, this plant gets it. So I don't have to come here and water this every day. And I'm telling you, these have grown with no fertilizing. I haven't given that any dose of fertilizing. These just grown up there. So if you could see how beautiful it looks, I'm not too sure. I hear many farmers say that when the plant just fall, it actually grows better than when you actually directly plant it. So this is it for today. This is the guided tour around the nursery and the small garden I have here. Gonna be finding a way to do lives in the other gardens so that you can see. So even maybe I'm gonna be doing another live just now because I'm gonna be in the river. I'm gonna be going to do an enjoyment time. So for all the farmers out there, I want to say thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to like the channel to help it out, and you can ask questions. So I'm gonna be doing that live every Thursdays. If you're coming on to every Thursday, I'm gonna be doing the lives to show you guys what work I'm gonna be doing, what new things I see I can help you all with, what strategy I'm using that you guys may not think of, because I use more creativity to get my things done. Yes, it's good to go by the books, it's good to go by experienced farmers, but I just say it like this: if you experiencing it yourself and you're doing it, then you're gonna get the feel of what a farmer is telling you. Okay, so don't always rely on person's advice. It's good that when you get the loss, you can actually know how to fix it. Okay, so I'm gonna be heading out. I'm gonna be coming back maybe in half an hour time to an hour time. I'm gonna be by the river. This is the same river that got me this setup. Um, I will have to do a separate video to show you all where the water comes from and all them stuff like that. But all for now, it was just a day to give you guys a guided tool to show you guys if you're doing seeds. Even if you want a little like upliftment, a little starting like heads up or something, my channel is there. You can comment under it. I can do a video to help you out if you're doing seeds. Any part of the world, it's gonna work. If you're doing in the cold weather, you can tell me. I may have a little bit of knowledge. I may have a little bit of more um, efficient way to actually get that job done. And for the cool persons overseas, I know it's harder to start the seeds because the seeds need a little temperature to start rolling. And if you got good temperature, then you're okay. But when it's so cold, then it's not that even like to say you will get good germination or stuff like that. You may have to stop water less and all them stuff like that. So as I'm gonna be heading out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm gonna be coming with this live, as I said, every Thursday because I'm gonna be doing things every day in the nursery. So I'm gonna have time to show you guys what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, what strategy I'm using, what fertilizer I'm using for certain things. And if you're looking to start a little farming and you want to do something like a greenhouse, it may not be for sale, it may be for just your personal use to do your little kitchen garden. You can comment and I'm gonna take it from there. So thank you all for all my followers, everyone who's watching. I'm gonna be heading out and you guys are gonna see me next week Thursday.
Parce que je suis